And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the person afflicted with tzara'ath on the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought to the Kohen. The Kohen shall go outside the camp, and the Kohen shall look, and behold, the lesion of the tzara'ath has healed in the afflicted person. Then the Kohen shall order, and the person to be cleansed shall take 2 live clean birds, a cedar stick, a strip of crimson wool, and hyssop. The Kohen shall order, and one shall slaughter the one bird into an earthenware vessel over spring water. As for the live bird, he shall take it, and then the cedar stick, the strip of the crimson wool, and the hyssop, and along with the live bird he shall dip them into the blood of the slaughtered bird over the spring water. He shall then sprinkle 7 times upon the person being cleansed from tzara'ath, and he shall cleanse him. He shall then send away the live bird into the open field. The person being cleansed shall then immerse his garments, shave off all his hair, and immerse himself in water, and become clean. After this he may enter the camp, but he shall remain outside his tent for 7 days. And it shall be on the 7th day that he shall shave off all his hair, that of his head, his beard, his eyebrows, indeed all his hair he shall shave it off. He shall then immerse his garments and immerse his flesh in water, thus becoming clean. And on the 8th day he shall take 2 unblemished male lambs, 1 unblemished ewe lamb in its first year, 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with olive oil as a meal offering, and 1 log of olive oil. And the Kohen who is performing the cleansing shall place the person being cleansed together with these things before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And the Kohen shall take 1 male lamb and bring it as a guilt offering along with the log of oil. Wave them as a waving before the Lord. He shall slaughter the lamb in the place where one slaughters the sin offering and the burnt offering in a holy place. For regarding the Kohen's service, the guilt offering is like the sin offering. It is a holy of holies. The Kohen shall take some of the blood of the guilt offering, and the Kohen shall place it above the cartilage of the right ear of the person being cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And the Kohen shall take some of the log of oil and pour it onto the Kohen's left palm. The Kohen shall then dip his right index finger into some of the oil that is on the left palm, sprinkle some of the oil with his index finger 7 times before the Lord. Some of the remainder of the oil that is in the palm of the Kohen shall place on the cartilage of the right ear of the person being cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on top of the blood of the guilt offering. And what is left over from the oil that is in the Kohen's palm he shall place upon the head of the person being cleansed, and the Kohen shall effect atonement for him before the Lord. The Kohen shall then perform the service of the sin offering and effect atonement for the person being cleansed of the uncleanness. After this he shall slaughter the burnt offering, and the Kohen shall bring up the burnt offering and the meal offering to the altar. The Kohen shall thus effect atonement for him. He shall be completely clean. But if he is poor and cannot afford these sacrifices, he shall take 1 male lamb as a guilt offering for a waving to effect atonement for him, and 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a meal offering, and a log of oil, 2 turtle doves or 2 young doves according to what he can afford. 1 shall be a sin offering, and 1 a burnt offering. And he shall bring them on the 8th day of his cleansing to the Kohen, to the entrance of the tent of meeting before the Lord. And the Kohen shall take the guilt offering lamb and the log of oil, and the Kohen shall wave them as a waving before the Lord. He shall slaughter the guilt offering lamb, and the Kohen shall take some of the blood of the guilt offerings and place it on the cartilage of the right ear of the person being cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And the Kohen shall then pour some of the oil into the left palm of the Kohen. The Kohen shall sprinkle with his right index finger some of the oil that is in the left palm 7 times before the Lord, and the Kohen shall place some of the oil that is in the palm and the cartilage of the right ear of the person being cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on the place of the blood of the guilt offering. And what is left over from the oil that is in the Cohen's palm, he shall place upon the head of the person being cleansed, to effect atonement for him before the Lord. He shall then perform the service of one of the turtle doves, or of the young doves, from whatever he can afford. From that he can afford, one is a sin offering, and one is a burnt offering beside the meal offering, and the Cohen shall effect atonement for the person being cleansed before the Lord. This is the law of one in whom there is a lesion of tzara'ath, who cannot afford the full array of sacrifices when he is to be cleansed. And the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, When you come to the land of Canaan, which I am giving you as a possession, and I place a lesion of tzara'ath upon a house in the land of your possession, and the one to whom the house belongs comes and tells the Cohen, saying, Something like a lesion has appeared to me in the house, the Cohen shall order that they clear out the house before the Cohen comes to look at the lesion, so that everything in the house should not become unclean. After this the Cohen shall come to look at the house. And he shall look at the lesion. Now if the lesion in the walls of the house consists of dark green or dark red, sunken looking stains appearing as if deeper than the wall, then the Cohen shall go out of the house to the entrance of the house, and he shall quarantine the house for 7 days. Then the Cohen shall return on the 7th day and look at the house. Now if the lesion has spread in the walls of the house, the Cohen shall order that they remove the stones upon which the lesion is found, and they shall cast them away outside the city to an unclean place. He shall scrape out the house from the inside all around, and they shall pour out the mortar dust from what they scraped outside the city in an unclean place. They shall take other stones and bring them inside of those stones, and he shall take other mortar dust and plaster the house. And if the lesion returns and erupts in the house after he had removed the stones, and after the house had been scraped around, and after it had been plastered, then the Cohen shall come and look at it. Now if the lesion in the house has spread, it is a malignant tzara'ath in the house, it is unclean. He shall demolish the house, its stones, its wood, and all the mortar dust of the house, and he shall take them outside the city to an unclean place. And anyone entering the house during all the days of its quarantine shall become unclean until the evening. Whoever lies down in the house shall immerse his garments, and whoever eats in the house shall immerse his garments. But if the Cohen comes again and looks at the lesion, and behold, the lesion did not spread in the house after the house has been plastered, the Cohen shall pronounce the house clean, because the lesion has healed. To ritually cleanse the house he shall take 2 birds, a cedar stick, a strip of crimson wool, and hyssop. He shall slaughter 1 bird into an earthenware vessel over spring water, and he shall take the cedar stick, the hyssop, the strip of crimson wool, and the live bird, and he shall dip them into the blood of the slaughtered bird and into the spring water, and sprinkle towards the house 7 times. And he shall thus cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, the spring water, the live bird, the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the strip of crimson wool. He shall then send away the live bird outside the city onto the open field. He shall thus effect atonement for the house, and it will be clean. All this is the law for every lesion of the tzara'ath and the nethek, and the tzara'ath of the garments and houses, and for a tzara'ath, and for a sapachath, and for a bahereth. To render decisions regarding the day of uncleanness and the day of cleanness. This is the law of tzara'ath.